This
So
conference
yes,
will now be recorded.
I'm still on my hunt actually for this. All right. So let's proceed. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, Satish.
Okay.
Today you're starting with your PC. You had enough with our PCs.
I'm starting with mine.
you, you tested enough 4 GB RAMs. Dinesh is saying that he's having some challenges, like,
Oh, is
so
it?
we, nah.
Dinesh, what is that you're facing?
No, it is not running good, Satish. Again, I have installed it, but somehow I didn't give some permissions. While installing,
Okay.
it just seemed to be an error. That's why uninstalled again, and all the source files I'm uninstalling now because it is running in background. The files are I mean, duplicate files have created,
Okay.
and then again it's a headache for me. And
I
today I
think.
have cleared all the files.
Okay.
Yes,
Don't go
but
for system formatting.
You already did that, Satish.
For Dinesh, I'm saying. For me, I have done it because I had some issue. I had only 32-bit operating system. This was installed 6 to 7 years back. Okay, so until that plugin tool gets loaded, so let's proceed. So these 3 lines were the connectors which we saw on that day, right? So apart from this, we need to see the target entity and how we can create a record in the contact either by static and also through dynamic. So I'll just give you those set of things. Okay, so let me paste it over here. Mm, okay, why it doesn't take that? Is that a big burp or it's only?
Sorry, it's me actually. I'm relaxing on bed, so
Alarm for sleep.
sorry.
Okay. Are you trying to relate something
Sorry.
with my code or you're relaxing?
I'm just not resting on bed, so there's still
You
network.
always taking
So
personal, Satish.
No, I'm relating to the code official.
Yeah, that's what personal I mean to say. Nothing
Okay.
personal, but personal to you, you're teaching, I'm saying.
All right. It should be on that. And okay, why it says that? Cannot convert from string to sure on that. Yeah, this should work. And entity underscore contact time equal to new entity of contact and underscore contact time of first name, contact time of first name equal to this should be from the target. So let me make this to target. Target entity. Then let me put like this. Static. So it's not going to be at that, and it's going to be underscore contact time. Okay, this should build and give it this. Okay, it is done. All right, so if you guys see over here, what I did just now is I have typed in something called input parameters. I'm just checking over there whether a target entity is available in my input parameter. So whenever you write a plugin, when you put a plugin, the plugin will always contain an entity called target, which will be kind of a virtual entity. This entity will not be available in the CRM. This is from the CRM SDK, right? It is already defined. So every time when an operation is happening and when a plugin is getting triggered, so that operation that is happening will be captured under the target entity from the plugin code. So that is where your entire operation, that is your data, will be inside. And apart from that, we are just checking whether that target entity is contained in the context over here. Inside this context, whether that input parameter, inside that, whether you have the target entity. That's what we are trying to check. And after that, we are checking whether this particular target is of type entity. So these are basic structures, right? Of any plugin, these are the basic structures. Without this structure, you cannot write any plugin. This is how your skeleton structure should be formulated for your plugin. And here what we are doing is, whatever that is coming in the target, that is, if an account is getting created, which account is getting created, that record details, everything will be contained in the target entity inside this. So that one, we are trying to access it and store it in a user defined created entity over here. This is just a variable. Target entity is a variable which you use it in the coding, and the variable is of type entity, right? And here, what we are doing in this is, after this, we are doing two operations. One is static creation, and this one is dynamic creation. Right? That means whenever an account is getting triggered or created, so at that time we are going to trigger this plugin. And what this plugin will do is it will create a contact in the CRM based on these 4 lines, and the contact first name will be Satish and the last name will be static. Right? This is the functionality over here. Right? Then this dynamic creation, what it will do is whenever an account is getting triggered, so whenever account is getting created, and when this plugin triggers, after the static contact creation, this plugin will create a contact, and the first name will be from the account name. The account, when you create, you will give some name. That name it will capture and it will put it in the first name instead of this static name, and it will be dynamic name over here, and the last name will be dynamic. That's it. These are the two scenarios we are going to try it right now. Are you guys okay till now? Any questions?
No, no. Sorry, I had to stop you.
Please tell me, Mahesh.
If you can show me that code screen, please, one more time.
Yeah, you can do that.
So just getting my my mind works very differently. Sorry for that. So I'll start from the top.
Okay.
You defined a class, then you created a public void statement, execute the thing. And the first 3 lines of the code, number 13, 14, 15 are the standard code, which is not defined by you. It's like a standard for CRM. Is that right?
Correct.
In the next one, you're giving a if condition. If context input parameter contains target and context dot input parameter target is entity. Just want to understand. I understand the if condition, but
Okay.
I didn't 100% get how did you write that condition, like context input parameters dot contains target.
Okay, so that is
Line
actually
16. I'm just referring to line 16. I'm not
yeah,
getting that line
understood.
16.
So what we will do is like Mahesh, if you can recall, so when we debugged, did we debug this context on that time? We did debug and we went for a quick watch, correct?
I'm not sure, Satish. Honestly, I don't recall. It has been a while, so I completely forgot.
No problem. Okay, then leave it as it is. I got your doubt. I will explain to you right now by debugging this code.
Thank you.
All right, so let me just
For every if, it has to be one if, or it has to be if else.
it won't be if else. It will be just if only. You will not have else,
Condition.
because we are here. It is like reconfirming it. Whenever a plugin gets triggered, it will always have it in the target, and the target will always be entity only. It will not change, right? Sometimes if something gets crashed in the CRM, if it returns like that, then you don't have to allow these other coding to get executed. For that case, we always reconfirm in the beginning of the code.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
only if that condition is meeting, then only execute it.
Yes, it's just a formulation of your structure. That's it. All right. So let me. I have built it. This is class library 2 and account create. Okay, wonderful. Class library 2.
One other thing, Satish, why are we hard coding the variables in this code? Like, why are we giving the names?
Which one you're seeing?
Like you give the name there, right? As Satish, and
That's what I'm just showing it to you guys, like how we can, create in the CRM either static and also by dynamic, how it can be created. You can also hard code your name and you can create in the CRM, and you can also pass it as a dynamic value and you can create. So two scenarios I'm trying to cover in this plugin. I'm trying to show it to you guys.
Okay, so in general sense, like if we have to say on creation of a form,
Okay.
do it something differently means that we have to do it in that way, right?
Yeah, correct.
Like if you say like creation of a contact form, then do a creation of an account form. That means you're not hard coding anything in that name as Satish, but you're saying on creation of a contact form, first name contact dot first name, pull it and push it into this particular thing.
Yes. You're correct on that.
That,
Yeah.
that's how the normal things work, right? Because that's what I have seen.
Yes. You're correct on that only.
You're saying sarcastically, or you're saying really?
I'm saying it clearly because
Okay,
I'll
because
be
when you said, the way you said, the tone was saying, "Oh, you're correct in that sense." I was thinking that
no. So you are actually saying a real-time scenario, how it's gonna work, how it's actually still working on it. So in our case, I'm trying to show it to you guys, like from the base level, what are the options we have to create?
yeah. The reason I'm asking, or just getting it rechecked, it because I learned something where somebody taught me, like, to hard code values in, but
Okay.
later I understood, like, if you put hard code values in any of your code, that's
Okay.
actually not a good code. It's like, actually, you are not a proper developer. You are a bad developer or a bad coder, I would
You're
say.
not at all a developer if you hard code.
Yeah, so values have always to be derived or get or fetched from some external source. Then
Hmm.
only you can actually run your code. Your code should be that capable of have that
Yes.
capability, I would say.
Yes. Of course they say, right? What they'll do is, like, even though if they say some nonsense like that, they by themselves will write the code and they will hard code it in the project. If you open any
Uh,
project which is running in the real world, you will have
mm-hmm,
that, right? So you cannot omit that hard coding part, because most of the scenarios, what they'll do in CRM, there will be GUID which is hard coded. The GUID itself will be hard coded in the code to access the data,
mm-hmm,
because they will have some master data. In order to access the master data, they will either put the master code, the master data text value, or they will put a GUID value over there to access the data for other validations, right? Where
mm-hmm.
these people will get caught is, if you're working for a Microsoft project, they will run the 45 scan. So from there, it will tell you clearly whichever code that's there that's having a hard coded value, you have to reach in that. You have to
What
put
is
it in
that?
45,
Sorry.
FORTI, 45.
Okay. Who runs that scan, and why do they run that scan?
We have to run that scan. Like if we are the client to Microsoft, so we have to, sorry, if we are third party to Microsoft, we have to run that scan and we have to show the results to them. So they will cross verify. If there is any hard code, the 45 scan will tell you these are the hard coded values, and that will, give a consolidated report to your Microsoft counterpart, right? To their email ID, it will send an email saying that these are the
Mm-hmm.
code that has been run and these many hard coded values are there. Then they will put a call with you and they will escalate and they will shout at you, they will scold you, all these things will happen.
But do they do it? Because it's none of their business, right? How you develop or how you code it.
Not that, right, Mahesh, because
Just
it's
trying to
them who
getting
are
this.
designing.
I'm just trying to understand what exactly does happens, because for me, anything that an organization does internally, it's none of the business of the external people. Even though we are vendors for someone, Microsoft or Sun,
Mhm.
it should not be their business. Like, if you hard code it, if you bought anything, like, which is like, unless we are messing with their code or with their systems, then it's a different thing.
Not like that, Mahesh. It's the other way. They are the one who is outsourcing their project and giving to you for your development, correct? So they have complete rights over your code. If they ask you to give the code, you have to give the code to them, because the
Is
contract
it
will be set in that.
mandatory?
Of course it is mandatory. The contract will be in such a way. If Microsoft comes and says, hey, you are my third party and I feel like some sort of a code is missing in your way, can you please give me the entire coding repository? They will always have the repository access of your coding, and the repository which they give it to you for coding will be their repository. You cannot work in your repository. Maybe you can have a copy of that repository or a cloud repository in your local. That is possible. Either from a GitHub, they can have a local copy, but all the code will be in their own, license and their own subscriptions only. That is how
Mhm.
every outsourcing will happen, and you are in depth to do anything which they say related to any coding or development. So when they come and ask you, you have to give it to them.
So it's no point, like, you saying yes or no. Even though they have an access, they can anyhow access the thing.
Yes, they will have access and they will always do that. See, I worked with Microsoft, right? So one of my, what is it, requirement is about to get closed. So I'm about to, complete it. So when I pushed it to the UAT for the client testing, so the Microsoft guy found some issue, right? He found some bug in my code. There is some workaround he needs to implement, right? He didn't wait for me. He took the code from the GitHub directly. He modified the code. He uploaded in the GitHub. He deployed the code in the UAT directly, and everything is done. And then in the next day, I got an email saying that this was the bug I found, and you guys have to pull it from the GitHub and synchronize in other environments apart from production. This is how they work.
So, are you saying that even when you go in a generic terms in the general world, whenever you do a deployment, there is a second level of check that Microsoft does it on the
Yes,
deployment as well?
they will do
So
2 levels of check, Mahesh. Microsoft will do 2 levels of check. When you
for
put up
any
a code,
deployments you do.
any deployment,
Uh,
they will do 2 levels of check. One
I
level.
never knew that. What my understanding is, I will be
Mhm.
honest with you. I thought once you have this like development thing in your environment or in your organization, whatever
Okay.
you develop, you can push it without any confirmation or without any checks from Microsoft, because this is your project, right? And your own organization, if they are building, like today you are building on a customer, tomorrow you're going to build on marketing. So you will say, okay, tomorrow I'm starting on marketing. I'll try to finish one thing and see how it works in the real
Mhm.
environment, product environment. So
I
you're saying
think
even
you
that
have
checks
understood
also.
differently. I think you're thinking like, for example, if you're not working for a Microsoft customer, if our customer is Sun Microsystems, right? Let's take that as an
Okay.
example. So in that case, they will not do any checking.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you develop, you push it in their environment. They will just test the GUI, every functionality is working, and they will confirm. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's for other clients, I'm saying. If your client is only Microsoft, if your
Okay.
Microsoft is your client, for them alone, they will do all these things.
Okay. So yes, I got slightly confused. I can say that.
Yeah, now I got that. Because of that only you confuse. Okay,
What I
so
was
not
thinking,
for
because
all the business.
we do in our work, we do like bi-weekly deployments.
Okay.
We never had any time, like like any approvals or any sign-offs from Microsoft. When you said like Microsoft checks 2 levels of like validations, I was thinking like uh, is it like is the technology so advanced that the minute you want to deploy to a different environment, it's already doing in the background, like those checks?
No, it does. No, not that. It's because I told you, right? I work for Microsoft client.
Okay.
Microsoft is my client, so they do check that. They do. It's like my Microsoft counterpart who's there in the Redmond. All of them are developers, to be frank. They are well experienced .NET developers who are almost 8 years, 10, 11 years experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you face any code issue, you can directly ping them, right? They will help you out because they are the full-time employees of Microsoft. That's how they work. They want to put up a proper quality one because it will, what to say, ruin their reputation because it's for their customers. We are trying to develop it.
No, it's like rolling out to not for one client. It's all rolling out to Microsoft client. So it's like to a larger extent. And if any bug identified would not be just for one thing, it would be for a very big audience. So they have to make sure
Yes.
that it's 99.9% robust and is working.
Yes. Any project where the Microsoft outsource it, they will not outsource having a dumb team from their side and outsourcing to a better team in any other company. They will
Okay,
have first a technical team who is strong in developing. Apart from that, only they will outsource.
okay.
That's all. So they will never have
I
dependent.
do. This is something I don't know, Satish. So.
Okay.
But it's good to learn these things, like how the organizations behave and how the organization patterns are.
Yeah, that's how they do. That's why they have a proper quality than the other things. All right. So here what we did is on that day, we just registered an assembly. So when we
Mm,
registered, we got this plugin, right? Because that's the class file, which we have it over here. So once you
mm.
register it, you have to right click your plugin. So you have to specify on which part this plugin should get triggered. So I think this only we have seen on that day. Am I right? Create.
Yes. Primary and the second.
Yes, primary non-entity, everything. So now after this, I need to select this one as post operation. So that means after something has happened, this particular plugin will trigger. Post operation means after an operation has happened, after an account has been created. So it's not like only one account. Any account that gets created or any number of account that gets created in this organization, then our plugin will trigger those many times the account is getting created. It is directly proportional to the creation of account. So I'm registering this step. So this is just the step which I'm defining on what place this should get triggered. So once I register this step, I should start profiling. Click on this button called start profiling and select this to persist to entity, and I click OK. This is to get your profiler from the CRM so that you can use it for debugging your code. Right. So I will just show it to you how we can debug the code. So now it will have profiled after the name of your step. So you have to go to CRM, navigate to, what is this actually? Okay. We need to capture the profiler so that we can debug. This is the usual way. You cannot do anything apart from this in order to debug. So let's say I'm giving in some name. What name shall we give? I'll just give bottle solution. This is the account name. Right. So now I'm going to save it. 7 p.m. Okay, that is another plugin that is stopping this. Let me, I think this is the plugin. It's disabled. Okay, what other plugin is there? Here it is.
Satish is hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Please tell me.
Is .NET developer
Yeah.
is on top of like the CRM? When you say a CRM developer, what exactly does the technology? Because .NET means like he's a hardcore .NET person. But when you say
Correct.
CRM developer,
Yeah.
What is the main constraint for that person? Like
So if it is a .NET developer, he will not be, going with any JavaScript or anything else like that. So he will be a
only
full
.NET. Yeah,
developer for the .NET
passionate.
alone.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are into a CRM, that means you will have knowledge on the JavaScripting and also .NET along with the CRM too.
But okay, three components we have to focus on: .NET,
We need
CRM,
to,
and
yes,
JavaScript.
yes, but you don't have to be a full term development knowledge. You don't have to possess that full term development as a .NET developer possesses. You just
Yeah,
need to know
definitely
how a plugin can be done, how a custom workflow can be. That's it. You're done.
in
You are a
.NET.
CRM developer. Yes, that's it.
And one other question, like when I've seen some job adverts which is front-end developer, back-end developer,
Correct.
full-time developer. What does the front-end developer means?
Front end means they will not touch up any databases. They will just design the screens and they will give you beautiful screens for you, beautiful websites creation. So we call them as a front end developers. Back end
But
developers means, yeah, tell me.
CRM front-end developer means anyhow we don't have access to databases. That is a fundamental what I know.
But CRM
Correct
you
me
don't
wherever
have that.
I'm wrong.
You don't have that difference in CRM, Mahesh. You don't call any person like front end CRM developer, back end CRM developer. It's common CRM developer because this screen which you are seeing, this is the front end and this is the back end.
Yeah, but even I've seen I'll share that on WhatsApp. Like it's a front CRM front end development requirement. So that's what I was coming out from.
I don't think.
Satish, let me
Yes.
comment. What he said is right. So maybe the terminology is different, but what they mean is like client side and server side. So front end developer is something to do with the JavaScript and the workflows, blah blah blah. And when you say back end means is something to do with the .NET and C#, the plugin side, server side.
I agree to that. That could be also a case in there, but to be frank, Mahesh, you cannot differentiate a front end. If you hire a person who is doing front end, right now you don't have any resource who does only front end for CRM. If you are into CRM, you will know both the plugin custom workflow, that's the server side, or in the backend, and also you will know JavaScript.
Exactly, Satish. That's I was about to say the something. So now, whatever the jobs are coming up in the market, they are not saying specific. We want JavaScript. They are asking JavaScript, .NET, C#, whole end to end. Like means the developer he should be able to fix anyway like front end, I mean to say server side or client side. So whole everything technology he needs to know. Because I just gone through a few job specs. I have seen that they are asking all this. Yeah.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Mahesh. Anything else you have?
No. I'm just getting concerned. The reason is like I want to move to this development thing, but I'm still a bit like hesitant to call myself like what would be the real thing, because everything is like still that in the very early stage for me to understand. So unless I do or just get familiarized with all these things, so
See, Mahesh, so whatever sessions we have came through, if you know or if you have practiced all the sessions completely for 2 months or continuous 3 months, you can call yourself a CRM developer. It's done. That is how I have taught you guys, right? I don't say proudly that I am the one who's teaching like this, not that. I have given you all the
It's not
things that
like
is there in the
anything
industry.
on your Satish. I'm just trying to understand, because in our job market, every
Okay.
region has a different job market. Like in India, the jobs are listed very differently compared to UK. In UK, there are some, here you have some functional consultant jobs which are also they treat same as the development jobs, but they are functional. Those guys don't do much as a development.
Okay.
You said those jobs doesn't exist in India, but they are still existing in UK. So I'm just trying to get like when I go to job market, what should be my proposition or my proposal, saying, see, I am a if the job market here, job market says like you are a front end CRM developer, a full fledged who you have to do .NET, you have to do C#, JavaScript, everything. So am I equipped with all that thing, or am I qualified to call myself in that thing? I'm just trying to get myself prepared. Nothing to do with your training or with your learning or with your coaching. I'm just trying to understand where I gonna fit in. Like if I'm fitting in a role where I'm saying, okay, I'm a front end CRM developer, then I should go and look out for those ones rather than going in looking at like a senior CRM developer.
Okay. Mahesh, yeah, please go ahead, Venu. No problem. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
coming to the point, clearly what I understood from Satish is he taught the front end, I mean, it's a server side and client side, everything. If we practice the whole subject what he teached us, then we will be the full CRM developer. I mean to say we should be able to code C#, which is plugins, and .NET, and at the same time JavaScript and workflows, everything. Is that right, Satish?
Yes. Yes, Venu.
So CRM developer, I mean to say not specific client side or server side, but whole CRM developer we should be, like if we practice all the classes.
Yes, that is the techno-functional part. So Mahesh, I'm not again saying like it's not about my training or something like that. What I'm trying to tell you is you have been given the knowledge which you are confused right now. You are actually a CRM developer right now itself, if you can think, because you know complete functional part of CRM, sales, service, marketing, and you know the OOB functionalities, that is the technical part of CRM. Along with it, you'll know the extension of CRM, the plugins, and the custom workflow, which we are ongoing right now, right? So that means this is the scope of the tool. Beyond this tool, you have only the integrations. That is where the Power Automate, Canvas app, other things will come in. AI Builder, all the other stuffs will come in. That is where we call it as an integration.
We checked on the Power Automate, right? We checked on the Power. We did actually practice one of the sessions on Power Automate as well.
Yes, and we did
And
on
we,
the
we did
Canvas
the
app also,
Canvas apps as well. So
right?
we did on them, but yeah, I will park this one for now because it's only on my own confusion I'm saying, because for me to approach and get something, I just want to understand whether I'm targeting for the right thing or not, because from what you're saying, you are already a senior developer from what all
Correct.
the knowledge you have. So you should not be differentiating yourself into that target, like is it a senior or a front end or a back end?
Yes.
Yeah.
First thing, there is no front end or back end. If a company asks like a front end, that means the recruiter who has prepared the job description, he is some sort of a dumb guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, Satish, there are few jobs like that coming. Maybe
Yes.
in India it's not there, but here there are few jobs. They're asking like front end,
See,
like yeah.
what they do here, Satish, like they won't hire a full time or a full technical or a senior technical person because of the pay grade that they have to pay.
Okay.
What companies tend to do is like they hire a person who is capable of handling the code or capable of handling the handovers from an offshore team.
Mm-hmm.
So they can actually have like two teams, in-house team and also an outsourced team. So outsourced
Okay.
team does most of the job, whereas the in-house teams is capable of handling all the outsourced job which is coming in-house.
That's
So
all.
that way these people are not that senior. They cannot do everything on their own, but they are
Yes.
capable of handling everything. Like if something is thrown at them, they can easily catch it.
See, for example, I'll tell you my thing. So I'm sitting in India, right? So I'm an offshore development, right? So we are in the offshore development, and
Yeah.
my part of team, they are in the Germany, right?
Hmm.
So they are foreigners completely, and you can call them as a front-end developers, plus they are functional consultants.
Hmm.
Again, what they will do is any requirement that comes in, if the requirement is very small, if it is like altering a field, moving a field, or creating a basic system workflow, then this functional consultant or the front-end developer over there, they will complete it. From their side, they will complete it, and that will not come into my sprint board or any dashboard. That's it,
Hmm.
right?
Into your
So
radar.
if it
Okay.
is, yes, if it is beyond their technical knowledge, if it is a pure customization, you have to touch up a lot of relationships and what lot of customization in the CRM, then they will create a sprint backlog and they will assign it to us, right?
Mm.
So now if you see the person who's sitting in the Germany, he is in the same team only. We are also in the same team, right? But he is being called as a front-end developer, like as Venu and you are telling. So they are differentiating and they are trying to hire based on the pay grade because of the pay grade, restrictions over there,
Pay grade and
right?
the technical knowledge they have to pay. If they have to hire someone like you, they have to pay like a six-figure, I would say. The
Correct.
reason being is like, not only the salary, the reason is like, not many people have the technical knowledge, because
Exactly.
is like, Microsoft tool is like I would say is a niche tool, which not everybody have like expertise on it.
Okay.
So that's the reason I'm just trying to get to that point where I'm saying like,
Okay. Erase everything. See, erase everything. You are a senior developer right now. With your years of experience with the CRM knowledge which you got from the session, you are a
Mhm.
senior developer right now. And if you are not able to remember anything, then you are a junior developer. Done.
You give like option A or option B, that's it. There's
Option
no
A,
C
option
or
A,
D.
yes, option
But
A or option B. It's up
you
to
are a
you to
junior
decide.
developer. Yeah, yeah, fine. No,
If you don't
because
remember anything, you are junior.
no. The reason I ask, I had an alert today asking for like a front end development
Okay.
requirement, an urgent requirement. So I was thinking that whether I should go for it or not go for it. But I was still like thinking that we are still in the training thing. We
Go
haven't
for it. Go
done.
for it. Go for it.
Please go for it. Take it up.
Okay.
If they are asking for a front-end developer, please take it out. If you want any help, just tell me. I'll help you. Don't worry. Just take it
Okay.
up and settle.
I'm
Right? Because
I'm
not many people
literally
will get
waiting
that
for the
opportunity.
opportunity.
Yes. See that?
To be honest, if I get the chance in my workplace where I'm working, I'm straight away I'll take.
Yes.
Yeah, but It's not in my work location. It's like, that's job things, like job posts which come through. So I wasn't like, it's still like I'm not the one who has got it. It's they send it to like 1,000 people, and they'll find
Well, I know
someone.
that.
But I'll apply it. As you said, like Satish and Venu, I'll
Please
thank you.
apply.
I'll apply it, and I'll see how it goes.
Yes, that will be your life saving. So
But
you will become a onshore on-site team and you will manage your offshore. That's how it will be. It is exactly to a functional consultant. Sometimes if requirement comes in which says like basic thing like field moving, normal business
as I said,
roles, you will do
customization
it.
of the forms, creation of forms, entities, all those things, which we have learned. So
Mm,
those things came in. So I was thinking like, this is like, very close to what we have been learning and what we have been doing in last 2 months. So let's give it a try. I wanted to give it a try, but I wanted to check with you and, get that clarification. Is there something differentiation between this thing? But you said no, then
no,
yeah, I'll go for
it's
it
same.
soon.
But in India, we don't have it. We don't say front end or say back end. See, one
Uh,
requirement I got it. I got from this company called HTC, right?
mm-hmm,
HTC company is there. They called
mm-hmm,
me. They asked list of things. What they asked is like, do you know Power Automate? Have you worked in Canvas app? Have you worked on Dynamics 365 portals? Have you worked on field service automation? Have you worked on project service automation? These are the
yes,
questions
yes,
which
yeah.
they asked, right? Have you worked on the service module and have you done any automation in your services? Have you done any process that is related to a plugin? How many plugins you have written in a career? How many custom workflows have been implemented? What is the highest level of escalation you had and what was the issue and how you resolved
Satish,
it?
you need to say answers as well. You can't only say the questions. You
I'm,
need
Okay,
to
no,
give the
Mahesh,
answer.
in India,
no,
what they expect to be like a Superman. So
No,
yes,
no,
like
no,
all
it's
that's
rounder.
what I
fine.
do.
We will have same sort of questions like, how many plugins you have developed. We cannot say I have developed like 1,000 plugins. They will simply catch us. So that's what I'm trying to get from Satish. You have to give us the answers as well. If they ask,
You will
it has
not
to
be
be,
asked. See,
you
if you
know,
are going into the front end developer, you
yeah.
can say you haven't done much. See, if you are a 7 years or 8 years of experience, you can say it's been a while writing a plugin because right now I'm just leading my team. Simple.
So, what was the thing I missed out, Satish?
You can say like I wrote plugin some time back, maybe 2.5 years back. So right now I'm leading a team, so I do only the ideas and solutions for them whenever they try to with the requirement. That's it. Very simple.
Very good answer. Yeah, you got the job. Okay, but I'll ask all those questions offline as well. Like
We can have one day session for this itself. Don't worry. For this,
okay,
especially for these
but
questions.
interview preparation. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yes, we can have that. Not a problem.
Thank you,
So this
Satish.
is what they asked.
Okay,
Completely, they asked all these things, and the final thing what they asked is, you are having 7 years of experience, right? So what you expect from us? Like what sort of a role you're asking from us? I told them I'm expecting a lead role, and then they said, no, we cannot give you a lead role. We can give you senior CRM developer.
Okay, senior means just like a
CRM.
5-year person.
Ah, yes. The pay grade will be lesser, but you should know everything, right?
Okay, so you
Whatever
should
that's
join as
done in
a
Microsoft, you should
senior but
know.
work as a lead.
Yes, I will give you role. I will pay only for senior developer. You have to do the lead role. So whatever the question they ask, that's the complete integration, all the implementation of the CRM till now, right? All the versions. So this is what they expect in India, right? Not right now. Over the years, this is the expectation when it comes to this.
If an Indian interviews is the same expectation here as well. I when I go for interview, I have similar experiences. They want you to do everything, but they don't want to pay you anything.
Yes, that's what they do.
Even the onshore
But then,
companies, TCS or Cognizant, when they hire, they don't even pay anything, but they still want you as a, doing morning 7 till night 11 o'clock in the office.
yeah, that's
Fine,
another case.
Satish, carry
You were
carry on.
saying something. No problem. You were saying something. You were asking something. So
no, that's fine. Yeah, Mahesh, go for it, and once you are successful, let me know. Then I can join as well.
Sure. I'll pass you the same thing. We both can try together. It's
Yes,
two
yes.
purely
lions in one forest, right?
no, it's not like two lions. It's all on the luck and the timing, right? See, I
Yeah.
might make in the right time, or Venu might make in the right time. So it's who makes it the right time, and who ends up there. Even though he ends
All right.
up or I ends up, he might pull me in. So yeah.
Okay, so that's fine then. Okay, coming back to this. So we have just started the profile. We saved the account. We just try to replicate these step which we created. Now I'm going to stop the profiling. So it should have created in the plugin registration itself, the log file. It would have captured over here. So once you stop it, you have to go to your Visual Studio and go to debug and attach to process. So here you will see your plugin registration that is running. You have to attach to your plugin registration. That means you are trying to bridge a communication between your Visual Studio and plugin tool, so that everything that comes from the Visual Studio or the plugin that gets captured over here. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to put a breakpoint. Right, so that means the debugger will hit and it will be in the line for execution. It will wait here for the execution. I'll go to plugin tool. I should debug it. I should select the profile. The profile is the one which will be saved inside this, because we selected persist entity. So here it is, today's date, and it has captured. You have to select that profile. The assembly location where your assembly is built, that DLL, class library 2.dll, open that. So then you have to click on start execution. This will hit and directly come to this place. You guys are able to see it? Yellow highlighted, and that means this particular line is about to get executed. The line is ready to get executed. That's why it's over here. Now you have to navigate to F10. You have to press function key
Are
and
you
press
going back
F10.
to studio?
Yeah, right now we are in the studio only.
Because
Okay,
my
for you.
screen is frozen. My screen is frozen, so that's the reason I'm asking.
Okay, I think for you guys it hasn't synced properly. Right now it's showing plugin registration tool only for you guys. Am I right?
No, for me it's still hot reload unavailable. Something has came up and it's stuck on that thing.
What about Dinesh and
Yes, for me also, Satish, it is showing that hot reload unavailable.
And on the
I
back,
can
it's
see replay
It
plugin
is in,
execution. I can see.
on the background. Yeah, it is there, but I can't see Visual Studio.
Yeah, I can see the replay
Yeah,
plugin.
I
Yeah,
can see
now
now.
we can see.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
clear now.
yeah, only now
Sorry,
it came in. No, it didn't sync properly for all of you. Only now it's synced.
yeah, it came to line 16.
So what I did is, like, I have just executed 119. So here if you see the context, so I told you before, the context will always contain the metadata information or all the operation thing that you put in. So I'll just right click this context variable and I will go to quick watch. So here you will see the complete details, right? You will be seeing the organization ID, the organization name, unique name,
Mm-hmm.
on which plugin it is getting created. All these things you will see. It's creating on the, it's a create message plugin. So here if you see, you will see input parameters. Expand that input parameters. You will find count equal to 1 and count equal to 1. So here when you expand the keys, you will find something called target. This is what we call it as a virtual kind of entity that is applicable only in the plugin code. This will be coming on only in the plugin code. This target entity alone will contain the values that we have just created in the account. Right? So if you see the keys over here and you have values for that. So the zero record, same for keys, zero record is their target, and same for that values. What are the values here? You just expand it. Here it will give you the attributes list. Expand it. Here you will have keys. Can you see it? All these are schema names of the fields that are available in the account entity. Right, all the 41 are available, 40 are available. Now collapse it and go to values. Can you see this is the name which we gave in the account creation, Portal Solutions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is in the 14th index. That means the schema name of that is 14th index name. Name is the schema name. So it is in the name field, whatever we gave over there. So then from here only, we are actually trying to access the target. So that is why we are trying to access the target entity. So here under the context, can you see it? If you see the hierarchy, you guys will be able to understand, right?
Yes, Satish.
right? So now it is the context. If you expand the context, under the context, context dot input parameters, right?
Mhm.
Context dot input parameter. When I press enter, you have it, context dot input parameters. The same thing which we are saying in the code. If I just, put it over here, can you guys see it over here? Context dot input parameters,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Same inside that dot contains, right? Dot contains, whether it contains target. So this will return true. You getting it? It contains target. So this is what we are checking, whether that input parameter contains, because if you see everything which you put it when you create it, that will be inside the target entity only, as I told you. So inside the
Mhm.
target entity only, we have all these keys and everything. You getting it? Right. So from here only, we are trying to access it. Now let's say I want to access the target itself, right? I will put that square bracket. Okay, it's not coming in. Okay, one sec. I think this will come with the square bracket. Okay, no, it doesn't. So here itself you can see it, what it does. No, it doesn't work. So this gets allowed only in the coding part. So in order to see whether that coding is good, what you do is expand this and select it. Can you see it? So here, this is the syntax if you want to see it in the quick watch. Apart from the syntax which we have, this is the syntax in here, and this is the syntax in the quick watch, which you are trying to get it. Yes, get it
Mhm.
what I'm saying, right? So the quick watch allows us to see what are the values or what are the objects that is returned from the CRM SDK for the particular figuring option. That's what it does, right? So this is the reason we are checking over here. What is the input parameter and what is that? And here, if you see, in order to access any attribute inside the target, I should always open and navigate to the keys and values. If I want to access the 14th, what is that? One second. Let's expand that attributes. And if I want to access the values, bottle solution, right? Can you see it over here on the top?
Mhm.
The coding that is present. So these many coding I have to open it up. One second. Again, guys. Okay. So in order to access this, you need to put up all these things. And here it's always accessed only through a dot operator, right? If you see everything, it says it's separated by dot, generic dot, MS Corp library dot, all these things it is accessing in this way. So in order to, reduce our coding, we directly get the target entity and we store it a variable called target entity here, which is of type entity. Now we're getting it. You guys getting it? What I'm saying? Instead of accessing from context dot input parameters dot this attribute, we are trying to access it from the target entity itself. You're getting it? You're just putting an assignation over here. We're not doing anything else.
Okay.
All right. So here, what we did over here is we are trying to, create this contact record as static after this. And this is again a dynamic record, which we are going to create. So let me navigate to other lines. So here, if you see, this is just an initialization which we do for the contact entity, and we are assigning values. Here, this will create. So now what it says, has been disconnected or does not exist in the server. That means we have taken a lot of time in this debugging itself. So the timeout has happened. So we are not able to debug it. Can you guys see this error?
Mhm.
Right? So now Do not do anything. Just let it continue. Click no. Go back to Visual Studio and again start this execution. So now we are over here. Now press F10. So now it has executed that line, right? So it has created it. So now we are going to create the dynamic one. Let's see what now that is also created. So what we did is when an account is getting created, we are trying to create two contact records, one static value and second one is the dynamic one. This is going to acquire the account name and it's going to store it over here. That's what it's going to do. Getting it? So here if I quick watch this line, target entity of that, it will return the name of the account. Can you say it? Bottle solution. We are trying to access every attribute from using the target entity object or variable which we have created over here. Based on this, you are trying to access the field that is inside the target entity. Right. So now I'll just make this continue. This one it shouldn't throw, don't worry. So just this line I should have commented. Okay, so let's just continue. No. Let me go to CRM. Let's go to advanced find. So we need to check with the contact. So for in our case right now, we will have two records created. Instead of one record, we will have two records created. Okay, meanwhile, I will copy paste from this public void execute till this in your window. Can you guys please copy it if you want the coding part? I've just pasted it. First name, last name, created on. Can you guys see it now? This many record that gets created. So here if you see, we have registered the plugin already and we save the account record first time. That is why we have two records that got created under 9:37 p.m. and 9:37 p.m. right? Only now we have triggered and we have debugged the plugin. So we have two records created 10:05 p.m. and 10:04 p.m. Are you guys able to see the difference? Hello?
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
slept?
Yes, Satish. No, no,
I'm
Okay.
trying to understand. Not sleeping.
no.
All right. So here if you see, okay, let me remove this 9:37 record. Let me just remove. So that will be confusing for you guys. I'll just delete these two records. So here, okay, even this one I don't want. No, 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 I don't want to mark it. Okay, so here this is the static contact which we created, right? Satish static, first name Satish and last name static. That's what we defined in the code. This one, first name should be Satish and second name, last name should be static. And for the second what we mentioned is whatever name that is coming from the account created record, that name should be created. That's what we mentioned. I mean, that name should be the first name and the last name should be captured as dynamic value. It should be like a dynamic text. So the same thing here, you will be able to see it. So for the first one, this is the name. And for the second record, the dynamic one, we got it from the account name, bottle solution, and the last name is having dynamic, right? These are just the two scenarios which we tried for today with the plugin. Any questions till now?
No,
I think it's too advanced for today.
Yes.
too much knowledge, I would say. It's taking like straight Air Force route.
Okay,
Already
but
mind is already loaded.
But
okay, yeah, tell me, please tell me.
no. I think you pasted this one, right, Satish, in the chat. I haven't copied it. Just
Yes.
give me 1 second. Let me copy it first.
Yes, the public void execute. The other line I have copied on that day itself. If you don't have,
Another
I will
one.
copy it again.
I just need to copy this one. Sorry.
So for your front-end development, you won't need this plugin itself, Mahesh. I'm just kidding. Don't worry.
It
So
might be the
for
case. They don't want to
yeah,
pay a full-time person. That
it could
might
be that.
be. They
Could be that.
they just said like front end, so they can just pass through it.
Yes. And even after going there, if you, for example, if I'm saying, right, so let's think positively. Even after going there, they'll say only you are a front-end developer. That's what we hired for. Just do only that task. If they tell you like something is plugin, do you know it? Just don't nod your head after going to the company, saying that yes, I know plugin. I do plugin. Do not say that. You will become front-end, back-end together, but you will be paid only for front-end.
But is it not suggestible, like, when you go for a role which is a junior and you are being asked to do something senior and where you have an opportunity to learn, you should say yes.
If you have to say like you haven't worked much on that, you are ready to learn and you can implement. So you will have some time to implement and learn and implement. If you say upfront, they will give you an exact task, whatever that's there, and you will be coming out of the, what is it, the development knowledge itself in a single place. Right? You should be very careful in deciding on that, because they will not think about you as a human, right? You are just a resource for them. Whatever they need that is related to the CRM, you have to do it and give it to them. That is how any manager or any lead will think in this. Right?
Makes sense. Yeah, you're just a resource.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Any other questions? Maybe tomorrow,
No.
till tomorrow you guys can practice, and let's go through this tomorrow again if you guys have any questions.
We have to
And
go
then
to Satish.
But you guys
I won't say no or yes. I'm just doing it straight away while you're saying it to me.
Yeah, I have also tried it, Satish, but it's not possible.
I don't want to take ifs much. I know we see, when you are in the last seat, you just want to come to the front and at least know something to clear. Sorry.
So okay, so Venu, from your side. Venu just left, I think. I think he just attended a mathematics session.
You might be thinking, what?
No. Go on, Satish. Sorry.
No, I was just asking, what do you feel with this coding part?
Yeah, it's fine, but only thing is you need to do a lot of practice. That's practice makes
Let's
man
practice
perfect.
on every system tomorrow, on all 4 GB RAMs. Then only give heads up to Satish.
Okay, because if you practice till tomorrow, you will have a lot of questions. Even if you face some error, if you get stuck, don't worry. Just ask
Paste
me.
that other line as well, please. I know we already have it, but paste one more time, please.
I'll just do one thing. I'll copy paste all of these. Just see whether you guys get it. Maybe I'll comment this. This will be throwing errors for you. Are you guys? Did you guys get everything from top to bottom, or it is from? For static creation, it was just entity contact equal to new entity only, right? You didn't get everything.
Yes.
Entity underscore contact equal to new entity only you got. Okay,
Yeah,
so
in the
from
One second, Satish. I was on another page. Sorry. While I was speaking
yes,
to you.
entity contact equal to entity new entity.
only that. Okay, that line alone, I will again copy from that line. I will copy till the end. This will be a
Yes,
second
okay.
part.
Oh yeah,
So
okay.
what you guys have to do is you have the entity underscore new entity, right, in the last one. Just
Mhm.
Yes,
remove that line alone, and you do with this thing.
yes. For up to static creation.
Entity. Yep. Entity contact. New contract.
From static creation command in your other
Oh
just
my
before previous, remove that and again replace the other one which have created. So,
You want us to be totally confused, not like slight confused. You're taking every opportunity to confuse us.
I'm so sorry, Mahesh. This GoToMeeting doesn't allow me to paste everything.
No. I'm just joking, Satish. We can understand. I'm just saying, if you come back after 6 hours, you say, what was the entity? What was this entity? Then you're lost again.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do one thing. Just give me a
Yeah.
minute.
Copy and paste it in a notepad and just share that notepad to us. That way we are safe.
No, not that. What I'm going to do over here is you guys take a print screen right now.
Okay.
This is the main code. Just take a print screen so you guys will understand what is the sequence of lines.
Sure. Done it, Satish. Thank you. You
Yeah,
always have a workaround.
yeah, that's always good to do that. Okay, so I'm done for today. This two things. So I'm going slowly for you guys. So what we have is like we need to see the query expression to retrieve the data from the CRM and how it can be retrieved. So that thing we need to see. So once that is completed, we will try to send an email from our plugin. When a record is getting created, we will retrieve that contact details from the record and we will try to send an email, either a static email or dynamic email. We can try that. All right, so that we can do. So these two things we have to try it in the plugin. So apart from this, anything else that is related to your requirement which comes in. So based on a requirement, you have to implement it. That's how it will go. But when you say a plugin, this is how it has to be done. These are the basic structure of your plugin. Right? Are you guys okay with this till now?
Sorry,
Yes.
Satish. I was on the other page.
Completely.
What did you say, Satish? I missed out completely. I
What I
was
was saying is
downloading.
like,
Yeah,
sorry,
go on.
yeah, sorry. What I was saying is like we have to cover, query expression
Yeah,
and
query expression.
sending email from your CRM
Mm-hmm.
from this particular plugin, right? So once we
On
complete this,
creation. Okay. Mm-hmm.
yes, once we complete this, we will see the custom workflow. Custom workflow has no difference with the plugin. Only certain lines. You see these three lines in the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
These three lines will get changed, right? And this line this particular word will get changed, and this parameter will get changed. That's it.
Let's
This
not
is
worry about it because if you say this is gonna change, we are especially my mind is like old mind. It can't take everything. So let's not go for custom workflow now. Worry about the plugin at this point, please.
okay. Fine. All right, then we'll just continue from tomorrow on this.
Sure, Satish.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry
Take
for
care. Bye
Okay.
bye.
stopping.
No
Bye.
Good
problem.
night.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Thank you, Satish.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.